Good morning. Second to last day. Let's get this over with. It's been a grinder all week. Things moving up and down in a range. This trading range, and we'll see if it's going to get out of here or not. Um, let's see. Good morning. Good morning. I think I speak. I'm not speaking. I feel I had to get up this morning at around. I actually woke up at 3 o'clock. I didn't because I didn't want to. I had alarm, but anyway, 3 o'clock to drive my daughter to the airport at 5 o'clock. So I'm a little sleepy. All right. So as you can see, it's been in a trading range all week here. And yesterday, came down close. It didn't tag it. And it just what time was that? Right at the end of the day there. And then just dead. I mark off these areas, sell area, buy area, um, and wait for it to get down there, and then look for some kind of a pattern to form during the trading day for it to reverse from the buy area, which is just again looking to the left. And so now, you can see it's on its way back up, and as I can drag this, I drag it down here onto that pivot on the hourly, and it's not even a pivot because it doesn't have 3 bars there, but it'll likely stall. So we do have a wide range bar, an inside bar. We just haven't had patterns that your typical, yeah, this is a great pattern. Um, you know, to get on board something. Well, it was a good pattern yesterday when we were doing MT Live, which seems to happen an awful lot. Um, Tesla made a bottom and Apple made a bottom, and they made that rally during MT Live. Those are reasonable patterns. But we'll see what today brings. So, toward the bottom of the range, maybe this is a indication, that this held down here without getting there, that buyers are somewhat aggressive. And so we'll see what it does, as it comes down into here. And that's what we do, right? Mark off our areas and see what the reaction is to them. Put that down there. But so far, it's just chopping back and forth here. Not much other than to talk about and see what next bar shows up. And was this rallied up there on the 5 minute toward that area? Expectation is it's going to stall, and it is stalling. Spiders, pretty much the same story. Pop back up, come back to the bottom of the range. Where is it here now? 380. I guess maybe that you talked about yesterday, McGraw, with that JP Morgan thing. I think you said it was 3830 was the number, so clearly that went down below that. And now it's getting dragged back up. So these option reference points, whether it's open interest or some other position, I forget what McGraw explained about JP Morgan redoes some position, I think on a quarterly basis, that has some effect on the S&P 500. But you see, this didn't quite get down to the bottoming tail bar yesterday, but closed on the lows, and now it's gapping up pretty good. Assuming it's up there at the end of the day, well, at the end of the day by the open, gapping that far into the red bar. So I'm looking at the daily chart and looking at the crosshair where it would be opening up at, should it be here in the next 20 minutes or so. And so while the depth of that gap is a good start, you can see on the hourly chart, it's into this rounding top where there's plenty of overhead resistance there. No, it's kind of suggests to me, it ain't going to go very far, or it hits that. But so I was looking at, whatever. Maybe it gets up into there to the top of the range. Well, nothing exciting. Looks like going to go on, and maybe this year is just going to peter out into the sunset, and we'll see what this looks like tomorrow. And if it's just like hanging down here, forgetting about the end of the year, how would we interpret this if it was whatever any other time? Retest, failure, deep angle of retracement into support. It's holding support, a bottoming tail bar that doesn't follow through to the upside, just chopping back and forth. Bearish price action, which suggests it's going down. And we'll see what today ends and where tomorrow leads to. So for SPX, there's some premium down at 37.40 on the downside. Those things are up, gapping up to the top of that bar. And, I wouldn't call it a no-brainer, but, at least you can see where my cursor is. It's on that closing low down there. Fabio's asking me, what do I think about the divergence between the spiders and the VIX? The VIX has been low all year, so I'm not really thinking all that much about it. Tell you the truth. You can see here's spiders down here in the volatility index. And, I pointed out the fact that it was down at these lows a couple of weeks ago. Looking, hey, it's been each time it's been down here this year, the markets have turned down. And that's what happened. It was erratic. We got that big, nasty bar that was a big green bar. It looked like it was going to blast up to higher and then flip back down. And so now it's just chopping around at the bottom of this big, nasty weekly bar, just going nowhere, which kind of like just waiting for the end of the year. And then all you need to do, is it going to go lower with this price action? I wouldn't think so. So what you want to do is set an alert up here and, see if the VIX is going up. This will be going down. This be heading down toward the low of 2022 in all likelihood to be going lower. But hey, we'll just see how it all plays out. We look at trends. Is it going up, down, or sideways? Look at multiple time frames. Look at market internals. Look at intermarket analysis and come to some, educated conclusion of a bias and then see how it plays out. So far, what we have is bearish price action at the bottom of a range. You've got the volatility index at the bottom of the range. It isn't moving. So because it's at the bottom of the range and each time it's come down here, as you can see, all those were V bottoms and it went up and now it's just hanging here. So keep the powder dry. Don't get too enthusiastic that something meaningful is going to happen, because until it breaks out of this range that I've been talking about, we really don't have anything to, say that something meaningful is going to happen. It looks lower, but until proven otherwise, it's just choppy price action. And VIX call spread, if you got to go to 38.65, which is above, right? You can see where that is. These are close compared to what they were. Back here, it was like, it ain't going there. No way. With this range and this is gapping up here, that could tag 65 and still within the trading range. They get down to 37.40, which still isn't that far away. It's got to break out of the range. And at that point, if it does, we got to be thinking it's going lower. Why should it stop here? But it would have to travel quite a distance from where it is right now to get down there. So it's not unreasonable to do that trade, but I'm not really interested. Right, question, please. I'm new here. Hello, Chase. Welcome. Question about break even as a stop loss. Does break even price credit received minus? That's a Dan question, but minus credit received fluctuate the price action, or is it static? Do market orders usually hit right break even? When you place a market stop loss order and you're talking credit spreads, which you're going to be using a contingent order, unless you place a limit order, you're going to get filled at the fancy of the market maker, I guess, within reason. So you may believe it's going to be break even, but because of volatility, the speed at which prices are moving, time decay, it's your best guess as to where you're going to get filled. If something is stopping out, you want out. Using a limit order, you're taking the risk of not getting filled at all. So, take the medicine. The only other thing that I can offer you as considering your order, and we've talked about this in the green room in the past, is say you do a bull put credit spread on SPX down here, right? And this comes up as it is and starts rolling over. And now it's going all the way down and your stop is down below here. And this thing's been traveling down for several hours. It's a suggestion because the suggestion is based on probabilities as to what's likely to happen. If something has been traveling down steadily and then it takes out the stop, a greater than 100% retracement, it's a high probability it's going to pop back up. So my suggestion would be pull your order. And it's a high probability it's going to take out the stop, it's going to stabilize, and it's going to rise back up. And when it rises back up, send your order to get out. If it doesn't rise up and it starts diving down, yell my name with a few curse words and say, well, sound like a good idea. But I'll tell you, most of the time, it works. Because when it travels all the way down that far, and that's the whole idea of a greater than 100% retracement, that prices, once they take out that low, it's traveled all the way down. It's at support. You look to the left. There's going to be buyers there. It pops back up. You'll get a better out. So that's the best I can offer. But with options, it's not, even when you put a stop loss for a stock or the futures contract, it's a market order. So when you want out, you want out. Because I've seen situations where other people have placed limit orders and they didn't get out. And then they're screwed. So, all right. But, so you're in the room, talk about that. We can see different situations. Right? Does break even float or does it stay set? When you set your stop loss to your break even and a market order, it just sits there. If you put good till canceled, it's good till canceled. Now, if you place that order and you're sitting overnight, you probably want to pull that order because how things are moving in the morning. And then you can reset it. But when you place your stop is there. You see this line on my chart right here? That's just an alert. It's not a stop. So if I was placing an order here, there would be a line on my chart that's a stop that I know. And I, just like this, I can drag that. I can drag that up and down. So if I have a stop loss, there's a line on my chart, I drag it down. If I have a sell order up above, if I say like that, and I I'm just setting alerts, but you see it puts a line up there and I can drag it around. All right, Bitcoin's not doing anything. Silver, nothing. Markets are just, going sideways. Oil's coming in a little bit from the sell setup that was here. And, interest rates popped up. They're into some resistance here. So, they're stalled there. And so we go into today pretty much like it was the last couple of days. We'll see if things start moving one way or the other. So it's interesting that, and I mentioned this in the room yesterday, that interest rates came up like they did, and some of the stocks like construction stocks and home builders, they didn't dive. So maybe they're gonna pick up some steam. I didn't look at them at the end of the day, but it's taking so long. Anyway, it's not filling in and going on here with this thing in the morning, but all yours, Dan.
Good morning. Yeah, been pretty boring trading range here, that's for sure. Yesterday I said based on the close, I was bearish under yesterday's low. Now we got this big gap up. So we're in trading range. And I also said maybe we just have 2 more inside days. And as Alex said, we got quarterly options expiration tomorrow and index futures. And end of the year, window dressing. So one scenario is 2 inside bars, boring as can be. And then the party starts lower next week. I would love for this to get, kind of just eyeballing a measured move down to 360-ish. That'd get the internals cooked for a nice bounce. But right now it's difficult. Jazz weekly. Jazz on YouTube is saying BLO is still open if the stop was hit. If the stop hit, it hit. I didn't think it did. I went through everything yesterday, but yeah, unless they send a telegram saying do something different. So that actually was the only weekly options trader. Tesla, I don't know the news again. Yesterday, when I see a pattern like this, I watch you every single day, and with 99% certainty, I will be trading you. I did trade it yesterday. We sold way out of the money, $99 puts. I said move stop break even. I don't know if it hit or not, but so I just didn't even post it. But I like it again. We can go out to next week, and let's just see what it does within the first hour here. It's up a lot on the 15-minute chart from this pivot. 111 up $8 is a pretty darn big percent, but it has room to go. So that's totally on my watch list today. GNRC, I was trying to sell puts, big bottoming pattern, got some upgrade yesterday and bullish price action. I'm looking to sell puts on that again. Snow, I was trying to sell puts, I didn't get filled on, but keep that on our list. Maybe we have to go out to next week, but I'm reluctant to go to next week until I have a better bias on the market. And let's continue here. Riven, I don't know if this is on the back of Tesla, but this is a Climo gapping up. So that's put spread idea. And we can watch the whole sector. GM, no interest. And CAT, we took our money yesterday. Had a nice return on a directional option and put spread. But let's keep it on the list. As long as it chops around sideways here, it's showing relative strength. And I'll be, if the market turns bullish next year, then this will be a candidate to come back to. Pan W. We were talking about this yesterday. Yes, it is a climactic buy setup. Far from the 20, but it's steady, ugly selling. And so I wouldn't touch this unless we got what we call a potent reversal. So I need range expansion reversal, gap reversal. But this is one I'm going to be watching every day also. NEWE 1260. Wow. What's going on here? Man, this was 180 bucks recently. All right, so this looks interesting. NUWE. Put that in a 5-minute window. I'm just guessing. I didn't look. I'm guessing it's kind of acting like a bio stock. It's extended on the 15, but let's watch it. EDU is on my core long list. Breakout daily, weekly, monthly. Giving a pretty big gap down here. It's in the news. This is a Chinese stock, and you know there's just by definition higher risk with China stocks and biotech stocks. Because China government just comes out and says stuff and messes up your pattern. But let's see what this does. EDU. I'll put that in a little window here. And then here's another one, TAL down, same reason. Hey, that's actually a buy setup, but again, deep retracement. Well, let's see what it does. Pfizer. Yeah, yesterday's low. It's kind of a bear flag after a failed buy setup. Yeah, I like it. I'll set an alarm 5080. Yeah, looks good. That. Oh, I skipped FLIR here. FLIR is a breakout. If it can get over yesterday's high, then it's a red bar breakout in a bullish trading range. Calm had earnings gapping down to 60. I got Tesla on the other computer, so let me put Calm here. See if buyers step up. Then that's a put spread candidate. GNRC I talked about. The generator company. Cala. This was rocking yesterday. This has to be pharmaceutical also. But a good setup. Has room. All right, TBT, Greg mentioned, yields kind of stalling here. Rambus, we talked about a day trade short. I'm going to set an alarm at 35.35. Oh, one of you were asking about break even on credit spreads. I mean, break even is always break even. Whatever you put the position on for, whether it's a debit or a credit, break even means you're back to that cost basis. That's all. And yeah, you're not guaranteed the exit price at all. G&W, I'm watching that with Alex. And JS3 saying Twilio is a good put credit spread. Let's look. Yeah, it's still a dog, but it made a new low and is holding. So yeah, that's a candidate, particularly if it's for tomorrow. Then definitely, like I said, I'm gonna be more selective on going out to next week. Momo here, we entered yesterday, but if it can get over yesterday's high, then you can add RH. I have as a core long watch. And it doesn't mean I'm going to be entering it anytime soon. It's a watch. But look at this bottoming pattern on the weekly. I got a higher low. I had a big move up. I got a retest. I got a monthly kind of W retest on this 2020 breakout level and big old price void. So it's on my watch list. You know what? Let me give you the whole. Let's go through these later today. Actually, I only update them every couple of weeks. Look, this was 12/13. So let's go through and update these later. Look, I had PayPal on there. Oh, look at Calm. PayPal still is a dead animal. Same with Square. Now look at this Calm bottom right. Just dropped $2. Boom. I got it down there. I'll watch it. I see coin here popping its head for some reason, but no pattern. EDU still dropping, no interest. Let it settle down. Tesla. Yeah, now you can see the gap better on the daily. So yeah, that needs to come in, but let me see what the juice bar looks like. I would love to do tomorrow instead of next week. Yesterday's low, but you'll still make money through volatility contraction. Now those 99s, I got at them. I had a small profit, but I sold them for 75 cents yesterday, and now they are 10 cents. So had I held, that would have been a home run gain. But when the Qs were weakening yesterday, I kind of got in caution mode. All right, wow, they have sucked the juice out of these things. They were astronomical the last 2 days. But now the 107s for tomorrow are only 45 cents. All right, so we'll probably have to go out to next week, but let's watch the pullback. IRTC alarm. We were short this. So now it might be a breakdown failure. Futures stalled here after a nice pre-market run. There was some unemployment data, continuing claims, whatever. And I'm assuming that the market went up a little bit. Bad news, good news situation of here, this, you need a big stop. You need a monster stop, but this looks pretty darn interesting. NUWE. Oh shoot, our Momo. What a piece of junk this is turning out to be. Our Golf Lima. We see what our stop was. 1956. So I just had an early alarm on Golf Lima. All right. So yeah, yesterday we didn't put on any swing trades. Market was a mess. Look at this. We got an inside bar, 50%. There's nothing to swing here. All right, this Riven. Let's see what the midpoint is. 17. 13 and 39 cents.